Welcome everyone, this is your host Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly sponsored by the Inkforged role-playing game. This is a fantasy tabletop RPG of high detail but very easy to play. You can imbue your weapons and gear with magically charged ink. You will find it in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by the Red Room Publishing. Please check out their store for exclusive tabletop RPG products. They have recently released New Flash, a future noir tabletop RPG where cyberpunk meets biological horror. You will find it in their website. The link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by Dead Tree Studios, the publishers and developers of Dames of Asstoria, a tabletop role-playing game where you play as monster girls, experiencing high adventure in a world that doesn't fully accept them. They have recently released Daughters of Lamb. This is a pay-what-you-want tabletop RPG, where you play as cybernetic nuns with guns, looking for the missing pieces of their AI god. You will find it in their website. The links will be in the description and in the pinned comment. This channel is also proudly sponsored by the Era Zone SceneQuest prototype tabletop RPGs. This is a collection of tabletop RPGs ready to play with minimal artwork and playtesting. It's a wild collection of ideas covering everything from science fantasy, science fiction, horror, you name it. You will find it in the description and in the pinned comment. That is the link to the Kickstarter. And today, I am giving you my review, my complete review, without spoilers, spoiler-free, of a very interesting document that comes with the Asilo Tabletop RPG Game Found Pledge. This is Patient Zero. Patient Zero is a game book, quite similar to, well, the inspiration was fighting fantasy, but I would say it feels more like Tunnels and Trolls. The choices are not as complex and sometimes ridiculous. Some of the fighting fantasy game books, they are ridiculous. They depend almost completely on luck. But here, Patient Zero, I think it's an improvement. It's quite closer to those good solo modules for Tunnels and Trolls. Now, I don't know if this is the final version of the document, but in terms of quality, the quality is really good. Everything is well written, organized, and explained. You don't have bookmarks, but you do have hyperlinks to move to wherever you want to go. So bookmarks would be a nice bonus, but because the hyperlinks are so well handled, I didn't consider it like an important criticism. There are some illustrations, but I don't want to spoil them. They are like black and white, classic style, old school even illustrations. Although the proportions are much better, because sometimes you say old school, and in some old school illustrations, the proportions are tossed to the side in favor of projecting a sort of expression that is quite surreal. But the quality overall, really good. Now let's talk about the contents, and remember, this is going to be spoiler free. When it comes to the character sheet, it is very simple. You only have dots, and these dots are going to be filled. You have dots to represent stress, the stress points that you are accumulating. Let's say that you obtain 3 stress points, so you fill in 3 dots. These dots are divided by levels. If you fill all of the dots in a level, then you obtain a symptom. Maybe your hands begin to shake. Maybe you suffer mood swings. If all of the dots on the character sheet are filled completely, that's the end. They tell you to go to a certain paragraph. Luckily, I didn't lose. I didn't die or become completely insane, or at least not insane in the game over way. So I don't know, and didn't want to spoil myself if I wanted to play through it again. I don't know what happens when you lose. And you also have some other dots on the sides to track pain and pleasure. And what is this all about? Well, the only ways of reducing stress is through particular events, through the adventure, or through the use of medication, or through the use of inflicting pain on yourself. And this is science fiction YouTube. Or pleasuring, giving yourself pleasure. if you know what I am saying. But if you indulge too much in these strange ways of relieving stress, well, you could say that pleasure is a valid way. You may end up developing some mental issues. You have a place to track manias and phobias, which make task resolution more difficult for you because you are not in contact with reality. You also have a space to write down your inventory, what you obtained during the adventure. So, what was my experience, right? You could say that this is the contents still, but also my final thoughts on Patient Zero. What was my experience with it? Like I said, I think this is superior to many fighting fantasy game books because some of them rely quite a bit on luck. But these choices here are quite logical. There are a few luck-based choices, but you don't feel punished by taking them. The best thing about this solo game book is the ambience. You feel as if you can't trust anything. You are pretty much, the premise is that you are a patient in an asylum, and you don't know what's real, what is not, what is planned, what is unplanned, what actions you actually took, if the things that you did actually happened in reality, or if it was just part of your imagination. So oftentimes I found myself second guessing myself as I saw a paragraph and I thought, that doesn't make sense with what just happened. But that's the thing, that's the beauty of it. You think that something happened, but it was all in your mind, perhaps. And I got the ending one. I don't know if it's the best ending because it was pretty open to interpretation, but yes, I would say it's a perfect example of a solo gamebook featuring clinical psychological horror. So, my highest recommendation for Patient Zero. And it's a perfect introduction, at least compared to what I have seen from the core book so far, to what Asilo, the tabletop role playing game, is all about. So, go to GameFound and consider pledging for Asilo, the tabletop role playing game. Thank you for watching this review. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the Super Thanks button. Take a look at the information in the description, the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, in tabletop role-playing games, you are not telling stories about your characters. You are experiencing the game world as your characters. Once again, thank you and see you later.